Welcome to Neo Royal House of Pricey Cardboard. On today's episode of Commander Gameplay, we have some slower decks for you Battlecruisers lovers. I'm trying out my Barrowin of Clan Undurr. Brewed for the podcast with Cole, this list is built around a little story I imagined. It's able to win for sure, but it's nothing too optimized. The best finishers are the black cards like Conrad, Ayara, and Massacre Worm, while the white side of the deck really makes the engine work with flickers. There's a good chunk of the deck dedicated to venturing into dungeons, and I think that if I wanted to improve the deck a bit, I would reduce this package for more draw and creatures to reanimate. Our three guests for today are Xynam, aka EDH Academy on Twitter, MJ from the MTG in Quarantine podcast, and Fitz from the Arena of the Ancients. Make sure to check them out on their respective platforms. Xynam brought his mono-white version of Yorion Sky Nomad. Using flickers and ETBs as well, it's similar to a Brago deck in the sense that his goal is to play multiple permanents with good ETBs and repeat them turn after turn by flickering Yorion, which will flicker the rest of the board, finishing the game with a lot of tokens and anthems. MJ brought a mono-colored deck as well, Kothophed Soul Hoarder. This mono-black deck runs a lot of ping effects. From Aristocrats to land drops, if you amass enough permanents, you will be punished for breathing. He is running quite a lot of vampires and life gain to make sure his commander won't take him out on a board wipe. Last but not least, Fitz is running Tolsimir Wolfblood and his partner Voja. This is a Selesnya deck looking to play multiple anthems that cares about being multicolored and make his legendaries really big. He runs a couple of equipments and most of his draw package cares about big power creatures. Xynam's opening hand contains Wall of Omens, Rambunctious Mutt, Wispweaver Angel, Rune of Sustenance, Break Ties, and 2 basic planes. MJ's opening hand contains Vampire Cutthroat, Solemn Simulacrum, Massacre Worm, Profane Memento, Bantu's Monument, a Snow-Covered Swamp, and a basic Swamp. Fitz's opening hand contains Karametra, God of Harvest, Song of the Dryad, Court of Bounty, Greater Good, Kodoma's Reach, and 2 basic Forest. My opening hand contains Sir Conrad the Grim, Radiant Solar, Delver's Torch, Vault of the Archangel, Dungeon Descent, Isolated Chapel, and a basic Plains. MJ gets to start this off, and land drops a snow-covered swamp. He casts Vampire Cutthroat. Xynam land drops a Plains, and Fitz land drops a Forest. I land drop the tap Dungeon Descent, ending turn 1. MJ land drops a Swamp, and casts Profane Memento. It's a really interesting synergy because it negates the loss of life on his commander for our creatures, making it a lot safer. Going to combat, the Vampire Cutthroat attack Fitz. Xynam land drops a Plains. He casts Wall of Omens, drawing on ETB.
Powerful magic. Powerful magic.
Fitz land drops a Forest and pass. I land drop a Plains and cast Delver's Torch. MJ land drops a Swamp and casts Bantu's Monument. This time he sends the Vampire to me. Xynam land drops a Plains. He casts Rune of Sustenance, enchanting his basic planes.
So when Rune in his battlefield, draw a card. That's how that works, right? It gains lifelink.
Yeah, I guess.
And I choose the path of peace and pass the turn.
Oh, big draws. Fucking big draws. Oh, I'm so good at this game.
Raw
Fucking the amount of luck I have. I will chronology.
I then drop an Isolated Chapel and cast Wolf Shredder. I make a goat on ETB. A big ass
The saddest goat.
No, you don't make the goat, you make a goat.
MJ casts Nighthawk Scavenger. He realizes his first idea was better and sends the Vampire back to Fitz. Xynam land drops a Plains and casts Hedron Archive. Fitz land drops a Plains and casts Karametra, God of Harvest. I land drop a Swamp and cast my commander, Barrowin of Clan Undurr.
Where's Mr. Bones? Everyone search the tomb! We need Mr. Bones!
Entering the battlefield, I venture into the dungeon.
So, Phil, I think this is the point where you ask, what would Peter do? And then you do the exact opposite, right?
Yeah. Like the shortest way, I think the longest way.
Peter knows the Minds of Phandelver by heart.
I gain a life from the Yawning Portal. I then go to combat, attacking MJ with a Woe Strider. MJ then drops a Swamp and casts Solemn Simulacrum, searching for a Snow Swamp on ETB. For his combat step, the Cutthroat goes to Fitz while the Scavenger goes to Xynam. On his turn, Xynam casts his commander, Yorion Sky Nomad. On ETB, he flickers his non-land permanents until the next end step. He then drops a Plains before going to said end step. He draws 2 cards on ETB. Fitz casts Sigarda, Host of Herons, searching for a Temple Garden uncast. I then drop a Vault of the Archangel and cast a dungeon map. I equip the torch on my commander.
She's now a 4/4 that can see in the dark. Yes, dark vision.
Dark vision, come on.
Hopping into combat, I send Barrowin to MJ, who blocks with Solemn. I venture on attack, scrying 1 through the dungeon level.
Phil, if you don't do the Mr. Bones animation for this episode, I'm going to be very disappointed.
It's
It's Mr. Bones.
On death, the Solemn draws a card. MJ then drops Leech-Ridden Swamp.
I promised Phil I would do this. I'm going to cast Kothophed.
He did it.
He is here.
I will be your most demanding master, Liliana, but I have great things in mind for you.
Not missing 1, he sends the Cutthroat to Fitz.
Do we trust Karametra at all? Seems nice.
It's a good card.
Wow, thanks guys. Way to really have it a hit. Way to be so fervent in the matter here. Like, yeah, I guess this card, it does things. I mean...
Xynam casts Forsake the Worldly, exiling Karametra. He casts Alchemist Vial, drawing a card, and then a Loyal Warhound, getting a basic on ETB. Fitz casts Song of the Dryad, enchanting Yorion. He then casts Garruk's Uprising, drawing on ETB. At the end step, I sacrifice my Goat token to scry 1, triggering MJ's commander. I then drop Access Tunnel and cast Radiant Solar. Venturing on ETB, I acquire a treasure from the Goblin Bazaar. Cracking my treasure, MJ draws another card. I cast Altar of Dementia. I then go to combats, attacking Xynam with Barrowin. Entering the Lost level, I scry 2. MJ casts Retreat to Agra. He then drops Urza's Mine, draining us for 1.
Beautiful baloney cameo.
Oh, that's going the other way.
MJ casts Bloodseeker. He then goes to combat, sending Kothophed to Xynam and Cutthroat to Fitz.
On your end step, I am going to Swords of Plowshare to Cutthroat. Okay. I will... I'm sorry, Bloodseeker. Sorry, the Bloodseeker. My bad. No, you're taking the Cutthroat. No take backs. No. Actually, Xynam, I think you're making the wrong decision. Like, Fitz wants you to take the Cutthroat.
Xynam then drops a Plains.
Every time I play against my friend's Cascade deck, he has like 16 mana. He's like, if only I had 1 more. I'm like, dude. You have almost 20 mana. You're just being greedy right now.
Come on.
I just need a little more. What if I had 20?
Exactly. What if I just had 1 more?
He casts Rambunctious Mutt. Entering the battlefield, he destroys the Song of the Dryad, freeing Yorion. Fitz then drops a command tower and casts his commander, Tolsimir Wolfblood.
Come on, Voja, who's a good doggo? Yes, you are.
On my turn, I cast Skyclave Apparition, exiling the Nighthawk Scavenger on MJ's side. Radiant Solar triggers, and I exile the top 2 cards of my library in the Runestone Cavern. I then drop the Swamp and cast my copy of Solemn Simulacrum, getting a plains on ETB. Radiant ventures again, and I scry 3 in the deep mines. I head into combat, sending Barrowin and Wolfblood to MJ. On attack, I reach the Mad Wizard's lair, completing the dungeon. I draw and reveal Lithoform Engine, Greed, and Massacre Worm. I choose to cast the Massacre Worm without paying its mana cost. 2 creatures die on ETB. Radiant Solar triggers once more, and I go right back into the dungeon of the Mad Mage. At my end step, MJ activates his Leech-ridden Swamp to ping us for 1. MJ then drops a Swamp, and casts Malakir Familiar. He then casts Gifted Aetherborn. Going to combat, Kothophed deals me 6 damage.
On the end of your main phase 2, nothing's gonna happen.
Good.
Yeah, my hopes up there, Xynam.
Xynam casts Wisp Weaver Angel.
So, going through the phases, Yorion comes in with a bowler, and for some reason, nobody likes the bowler look, so they're all gonna go away, and hope that by the end of the turn, Yorion's fashion sense will change. Don't agree. Wisp Weaver Angel doesn't agree with the bowler look, so she's gonna send Yorion back for a wardrobe change. He's now back without the bowler, but with a hideous mustache. Nobody likes it, so everyone's going to pop away and hope for the next end step. For a wardrobe change. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Passing the turn.
Now I'm gonna have to Photoshop all of these things on your.
Fitz casts Alert Heatbonder. He then heads into combat, sending Sigarda to Xynam, who blocks with Yorion. Before damage, Xynam casts Semester's End. Fitz as a reaction, casting Generous Gift on Yorion before the flicker resolves. Yorion dies, triggering our permanence, and Sigarda then goes through for 7 because of Trample. At the end step, everything comes back, destroying the retreat and flickering the wall another time to draw some more. Fitz also gains 1 life from the Heatbonder. At my upkeep, I sacrifice my Solemn to mill myself for 2. I cast Wall of Omens. I scry 1 on Venture and draw on ETB. I cast Sir Conrad the Grim, creating a treasure. I then go to combat, sending my Angel to Fitz. At the end step, MJ activates the Leech-ridden Swamp. MJ then drops a Swamp, and pass with open mana. Xynam casts Stout Vessel and then drops a Plains. He then casts Reverent Uplight, creating 7 1/1s.
Flicker Massacre Worm. Dun dun dun.
At the end step, Fitz taps his commander to summon Voja. He then drops a Forest and casts Greater Good. At the end step, I activate Sir Conrad once, hitting 1 creature. The Heatbonder also triggers for 1. On my turn, I cast Lithoform Engine. I follow it up with Teleportation Circle.
Oh, that's how we're playing this. Okay. Okay. That's how it is, Phil. Alright.
I sacrifice the Skyclave apparition to mill myself, triggering a whole bunch of cards on the battlefield. My mill includes a creature. Going to combat, Barrowin attack MJ. On attack, I scry 2 from Venturing, and bring back Skyclave apparition. I target Fitz's Heatbonder with the ETB. Fitz reacts by sacrificing it to Greater Good. Xynam reacts by casting Return to Dust on the Teleportation Circle. Fitz draws 4 and discards 3 non-creatures. MJ declares the illusion as a blocker.
Oh man. I don't really want to do that. Because that's just cheap, but Leech-ridden Swamp, go! Yeah. Sorry, Xynam.
MJ then drops a Swamp and casts Elixir of Immortality. He casts his own Massacre Worm.
Oh, I was dead regardless! Yeah.
Reacting to the cast, Fitz sacrifices Voja to Greater Good. Massacre Worm then resolves, killing 2 of my creatures. For his combat, MJ sends Kothophed to me. At the end step, Fitz resummons Voja. MJ discards 2 Swamp to end size. Fitz then drops a Forest, and casts Rishkar's Expertise, drawing 7 cards. He gets to cast for free, Make a Stand. He then casts Austere Command, picking both creatures mode. I react by activating Conrad to mill us one card, hitting one creature. I then sacrifice my creatures to Altar of Dementia, losing 6 to MJ's Massacre Worm while he draws 3 cards. My Conrad also triggers 3 times on sacrifice and 3 times on the mill. Still in reaction, MJ casts Rush to Vitality to save his commander. He then taps the Leech-ridden Swamp to ping us for 1. Austere Command resolves. I lose 4 to Massacre Worm while Conrad triggers 4 times, taking Fitz out of the game. We then go to my turn.
Both my opponents have taken chunks of my board before losing.
It's out of spite.
I'll end up a command tower and cast Prison Term, enchanting MJ's commander. I recast my own general, venturing on ETB. I create 2 1/1 skeletons in the Mural's graveyard. MJ land drops a high market. He casts Vampire Nighthawk, and then Liability. He casts Dagerdrome Imp, and pass. On my turn, I cast Ayara, First of Locthwain. I then go to combat, sending Barrowin and our 2 skeletons to MJ. On attack, I copy the recursion trigger with the Lithoform engine. I bring back Fiend Hunter and Skyclave Apparition. MJ has a reaction and casts Go for the Throat on Ayara. I sacrifice her to Altar of Dementia, hoping to mill some more creatures. Then my creatures ETB and exile the Death Touch on MJ's side. Before damage, I activate Vault of the Archangel, granting lifelink to my board. MJ land drops a Swamp and casts Reaver Demon. I sacrifice my Fiend Hunter and Apparition in reaction. MJ gets the Illusion token, but we resolve the Demon trigger, which destroys it. He then casts Lightning Greaves and equip them to the Demon. The Reaver Demon deals me 6 damage.
This time, we will actually complete the dungeon. What was meant for last turn.
I'll end up a Plains and equip the Torch on my commander. I send back my little party, I get a Venture trigger from the Torch and double it with Lithoform Engine. I scry 3, bottoming 3 lands, and I then draw 2 Plains and a Helm of the Host from the Mad Wizard's Lair, getting to cast the Helm for free. I bring back the Fiend Hunter with Barrowin, but because of the Lightning Greaves, I decide to not exile anything. Damage resolves and MG takes 5. In second main, I sacrifice my Fiend Hunter to Altar of Dementia.
Turns out, maybe I don't run enough creatures to mill myself like that. Because it's not been that great.
I cast Merciless Eviction to exile all creatures. I then pass. MJ land drops a Temple of the False God and casts Psychosis Crawler. He equips the Greaves onto it and swing it to me for the win. Well played.
Good game. Yeah, good game.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. These decks were a little lower on the power scale compared to what we usually play, but it was still a blast. I have yet to try my Barrowin against Peter's Nedar's deck. Make sure to check out Fitz Xynam and Fitz on Twitter. Take care and we'll see you very soon.